Hello traders, welcome to the next Well Trading Up YouTube channel. So in this video, we're going to look at a very quick review in GBPUSD. This is a trade setup I shared in the free Telegram community. So it means if you're in the free Telegram community, you must have utilized the setup that I shared in that community. And if you're not in that community and you wish to join our free Telegram community, then you can check the description section to this video. You're going to find a link to join the free Telegram community. So this is GBPUSD and this is the daily time frame. What we can clearly see in GBPUSD from last week, we saw the close of price on Friday, which was this bearish candle. So, during the weekly forex focus, I told us to anticipate more bearish movement to the downside. We'll be looking forward to see price possibly takes out this sell side liquidity, because this is our weekly bullish fair value gap, and within that we also found a weekly inversion fair value gap to be the draw on liquidity to the downside. So clearly what we can see, the delivery on Monday went to the upside and then took out this last week Friday candle high point, and we had bearish movements here to the downside. But here we can see today being Thursday, we're seeing bullishness. So price here took out buy side liquidity, fell to the downside, failed to take out sell side. We had movement again within that, failing to take out buy side and sell side. So clearly price has taken out buy side. They were looking forward to see price takes out sell side, and that delivery happened on Wednesday, being yesterday, which we traded, which I shared the setup in the free Telegram community. So let's check the 4-hour time frame. So here in the 4-hour time frame, what we can clearly see in the 4-hour time frame, from the weekly forex focus, we identified this 4-hour bullish fair value gap, and we saw price mitigating the bullish order block. This took out sell side liquidity here, gave this bullishness. So price here fell to the downside, taking out all the sell side liquidity, and we can see price gave a pullback and we had a fall again back, building upwards sell side liquidity within this 4-hour bullish fair value gap zone. So from the weekly first focus, I told us to expect the possibility of the bearishness to take out this weekly low points, this key level, and in confluence you can see here we have a bullish fair value gap. So what we can see from the 4-hour time frame, which clearly the identification was in the 1-hour time frame, was this fall of price. Here we had a pullback, price fell, mitigating the 4-hour bullish fair value gap. Monday was a bullish movement to the upside here, taking out this buy side liquidity and re-mitigating this 4-hour bearish breaker block, because this took out buy side liquidity and gave us this displacement to the downside. Price return, filling up this 4-hour bearish fair value gap, taking out the buy side, and we can see price again fell to the downside. So we are having stack of sell side liquidity being built up down here. Prices taking out this buy side liquidity and fell to the downside, failing to take out this low point, still within this 4-hour bullish fair value gap. So clearly my expectation, since from Monday we saw that price took out Friday's buy side liquidity, we identified that from the daily time frame. I showed you guys that. So I was expecting bearish day on Wednesday, from Tuesday through Wednesday, to see a bearish day to the downside, to take out the sell side liquidity. So this was the movement which I having on Tuesday. Price returned to our zone. I identify and pointed out this rejection block zone as the zone we want to take our sell move. You can see the indication, and you can see displayed on the screen the setup that was shared in the free Telegram community, and we can see how price returned here, mitigated, and we had the fall of price to the downside. So clearly we want to look at how you would have executed this trade, should in case possibly you did not execute this trade, possibly because you really do not have entry models, you don't have a knowledge on entry models. So let's check the 1-hour time frame. So in the 1-hour time frame, now we can see this was the 12 a.m. Tuesday. So we're in the new day here, being Tuesday. So clearly we know we're expecting bullish movement to the upside, and what we can see here and what we saw from the lower time frame is price took out the Asia session low points. So this is the Asia session range. Price took out the low to sponsor the bullishness to the upside into our sponsorship zone. So you can see that the rejection block zone we marked out from the 4-hour time frame. You can see here in the 1 hour we have this bearish order block. In confluence is this fair value gap. So what we can now see is the 1 hour also has this as a rejection block, and that was where price went to mitigate. And price gave us what? Our bearishness to the downside to take out our draw on liquidity, the pool of what? Sell side liquidity that price left here. So now we're going to the lower time frame, which is going to be the 15-minute time frame, and we're also going to the 5-minute time frame so that you can see how your entry models should have been built and how you would have executed this particular trade setup. So what we can see, I most time leave my chart markup so that I identify my zones when I'm dropping to the far lower time frames for the execution. So we can see this pullback, price fell, price returned to cut the buy side, price fell, bidding up stack of what? Sell side here. So we can see this is where we have the inducement liquidity, price traded, took out this buy side liquidity, mitigating our what zone that we identify from the 4-hour time frame, which we refined in the 1 hour time frame. In the 1 hour time frame, we can see that as this bearish order block, which is also a rejection block zone here. So we can see how price here from the 1 hour, we had the fall of price to the downside. Volume here closed below this valid low point because this took out sell side liquidity, sponsored bullishness that broke this high. So price closed below that from the 1 hour time frame. Price returned, took out buy side. I saw price fell, failed to take out the low. So our expectation is to see price return to this, mitigate this, and we have bearish continuation. So what we can see is the delivery of that outcome to the downside. So back to the 15-minute time frame, clearly we also make use of the session. Here we have the 12 a.m. That is, we're looking forward towards Tuesday price delivery, and Tuesday gave us the bullishness. So let's turn on the session indicator so that you can clearly see what I'm trying to show to you guys. So here we have the Asia session. So you can see how price traded below the Asia session during the London session, took out the Asia session low, mitigated this zone here, and we have the bullishness during the London. Now we are in the New York session. So I actually took a loss here because when I saw this displacement to the downside, I regarded this as what? Market structure shift. My entry was here, the stop loss here, but price traded above and took that out so that price mitigated the rejection block in the 1 hour time frame. Let's check that out. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So you can see this is a rejection block level in the 1 hour. That was where price mitigated. So my entry was in reference to this, mitigating this bearish order block. That is this open price of this bullish candle. And when I saw that fall, that was in the 15-minute time frame. That was why I took the entry. But unfortunately, price went back into the rejection block. When we check the 30-minute time frame, we can see that here we have this bearish order block, because you can also regard this as the bearish because this is the highest candle. It took out this high and now sponsored the bearish movement. You have a fair value gap here, so price returned into that. So I took a loss in that, which I also posted in the free Telegram community, but then we waited to see a reason to now trade, because this is a good sell model. Price fell, took out this high, fell to the downside, displacement, taking out this low, and it was in the New York session. So I was expecting the New York session should give us the reversal to the downside to continue bearish, but further during the lunch hour, the New York London close, we had price further push to the upside on Tuesday. So Wednesday, I looked forward to the sessions, and when clearly we saw how price fell here and took out this low point, because this low sponsored the bullish movement that took out this high. So price fell, took out the low points, and it was during the Asia session. So what we can see is now, this is something I've taught in the mentorship program regarding the session trading, how you can also trade within the Asia session range, considering the sponsorship zone within that. So what we can see in the Asia session is that price took out this high points here. So price grabbed the buy side liquidity here. Now we can see this sponsored the bearish movement that took out this low point, giving us what? A market structure shift. So price went to the upside, took out the inducement liquidity and fell within the Asia session. So clearly there wasn't a reason to want to see price possibly takes out the Asia session high point before we execute, because within the Asia session, price has taken out the inducement liquidity high points, buy side liquidity. So clearly now, what you can see is after price took that out, price fell. So we have what? A market structure shift here, because we have this pullback, price pushed to the upside, took out this high, and price fell, market structure shift. We're waiting for a return to the upside. And what we can see is that price returned to mitigate the bearish order block. That was the entry. And then price fell to the downside. So as I've said, this is just a very quick forecast. I'm not trying to give you guys much details. I'm just trying to give you guys what you should be looking out when you're using the setup in the free Telegram community, the models you can be utilizing. So at times I drop setups with the entry price levels and all, but there are times to just indicate where the market is likely to head to. So cheers guys, and God bless you all.